What it do, y'all? It's Nayo, and we are here with the Oye Cinema Club. We have our lovely panel of hosts, El Dino, JP, Miss Michaela will join in later, YTT, and of course, Mr. Eccles. This week was my time to choose a film, and it was Havoc. I'm gonna begin by sharing a past history of this movie. My sisters picked it up in a Blockbuster, and I was kicked out of the room at a certain frame. I vaguely remember it, so I'm like, hey, maybe I need to find it again and discuss it with people. And here I am. I'm appalled and I'm saddened. I added this to the queue. It is the worst film I've ever fucking seen. And not only that, it has a good cast, and the director, she is a documentarist. The writer is known to be Stefan, who is Stefan Gagan. I don't know. Stefan has written Traffic and such not and whatnot. So I think this was one of his earliest works. And this is my initial thoughts, and I would love to hear everyone's opinion. Let's begin with Dino, let's go. I want to hear what you got to say.
I kind of agree with you. I like, guys, if it weren't for this cinema club, I would have turned that off. Like when they were still in that parking lot. Like I couldn't. And then I almost thought, what if I just text Steve and say, like, I can't make it? Through all the different things in my head, like the first 5 minutes of the film, just like, maybe I can play a game while I'm watching it. And I was like, no, the sound's pretty bad. I need to try and pay attention a little bit. Man, I'm glad you brought up that the writer did Traffic, because I was like, this is like so many other movies have tackled these issues and just done. Go watch Traffic, go watch Kids, go watch 13. Like there's so many films that kind of visit either Valley girls or just like rich white girls that, you know, don't know what they want in their lives, but they can kind of get away with everything. I also, at the end, did say in memory of, I think it was Jessica. So this script the original script was written by a 16-year-old. So at the end of the film, I don't know if you guys saw, but it said in memory of, and so this girl wrote it when she was 16 and sold it to New Line Cinema or whatever that is called. And then around she was 24, she died in an airplane crash. I don't know. I'm getting this seemed more interesting to me than the movie.
For real?
Yeah, like
I did not know this.
The plane. It was a small plane, and it like crashed through a building in LA, and like 5 people died. Like it snow dived. It nosedived through this building, and then I guess the other writers rewrote it. So it makes me really sad that the writer of Traffic wrote this and didn't do a better job of it. And then just seeing all these famous people, you know, playing young people, even though they're in their mid 20s to late 20s already, is, yeah, it was very weird. Like, like the amount of money, like the intro of the helicopter flying around the city was really cool, because I was like, oh, there's my house, oh, you know, and stuff like that, and that's cool. But I feel like they added a long intro because the movie was so short already that they had to pad the time a little bit to make it an hour and a half. So anyway, don't watch this movie. This, you know, I'm sorry, guys. This movie, there was also an uncut version, which I feel like was a very early 2000 thing that was for like teenage boys to be like, ooh, there's going to be more boobies in this version of the film. Like, I think that was the whole purpose of that. And what's up with that? What in early 2000 movies of white boys with camcorders just going around and filming and being like, I'm a documentarist, like American Beauty, like this, like 5 other movies that I'm probably are not out there. But anyway, that's it. I'm gonna mute myself now, and I'm gonna let someone else talk about how much they love it. You know what? Steve probably loves this movie. This is probably Steve's
Yes, Steve. Let's go,
favorite
Steve. Let's do
movie.
this.
I know Steve loved this movie. I want to hear about it.
I can't hear you. Can I mute you?
Steve, if you don't unmute yourself.
You're muted.
It's weird because it says that he's not. Oh no.
No, stop talking. We can't hear you, bro.
Oh, he's probably faking it at this point.
Shut up.
We can't hear you, by the way. If you're faking, you're doing a pretty good job of it.
I agree.
Oh shit.
Let's go with Echoes.
So this is not my first time watching this movie.
Okay.
Yes, sadly to say. I remember the first time I watched it, I didn't really like it. And I kind of feel the same way the second time I watched it. And I will tell you the reason I watched this movie is because I remember when it got made. I remember when it first went into production, and Lindsay Lohan was attached to it. And back then, Lindsay Lohan was really good. She's like an up-and-coming actor in Hollywood. And I'll stand by that. I thought Lindsay Lohan was like the one. I was like, she is going to be a full-on, incredible movie star actor someday. And I was just trying to like watch everything she did. So much so, in fact, that I watched this movie because I was like, oh, Lindsay Lohan was going to be in it. So, I was a fan of Lindsay Lohan for, a few months, I guess. But
you had a crush.
This movie's interesting because like it's a stellar cast. Oh, does Steve come back?
Steve came back.
You have a crush. You had a crush on Lindsay Lohan.
I might have had like I had a crush on Lindsay Lohan the way that everybody else did at that time. I wanted her to win, but that wasn't in her cards. Or maybe she did win.
I followed her.
Won. She won the game.
She's doing.
Yeah, she was great for a time. Anyways, I will say this. I will say that this movie isn't all bad. I mean, it doesn't accomplish what it set out to do, I would imagine. But it's an interesting thing that they explore, because there was a few movies like this, the rich kids trying to be like, hard and from the hood and trying to act black. I mean, 'cause that's what they're doing. They are acting black, it's a weird thing. Because like I said, it's a stellar cast. The script isn't terrible. It's just so poorly executed. Like I just feel like the person who filmed this wasn't really of that world and didn't really quite understand what they were doing. They didn't really maybe completely understand young people even, like it just, she just didn't really get it. I feel like this movie would have worked with like a director like Harmony Korine or somebody like that, or Larry, what's his name? Larry Campbell or Larry Cable? Like one of those guys, like
Larry,
the guys
the cable guy,
with the guy who did Kids and Bully and all those kind of movies.
I could see that.
Like, because I think there is something interesting to explore about these rich kids from, the Palisades or Malibu or wherever they're from, and they're, trying so desperately to be of the culture that they love so much, and they think that's what the culture is, like violence and ignorance and drugs and, they're trying so hard to have this identity. And then like you look at, like, you got Anne Hathaway, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Channing Tatum's in it, B.U. Phillips. And I love B.U. Phillips. Like, I know that's weird. Like, she's not like a classically trained actor or anything, but I've kind of have loved her in almost everything I've ever seen her in. She's always so interesting and natural and sort of raw. And I just feel like she could have, if she wanted to. I don't know what her story is. I feel like I wish I could have seen her in more things, maybe that would have been good for her. And maybe there was, and I just missed them. I did look her up, and I saw that, is she married to Danny Masterson?
I don't know.
Yeah, because that sounds like a problem. All in all, I will say, Anne Hathaway was doing her damnedest to keep this ball in the air, and it just wasn't happening. But yeah, there are some things to talk about and some things to explore with this movie, and it's it is a cultural relic to Los Angeles, right? It's
Yeah.
they're all over LA. Even the opening scene, like Dino said, kind of like just sort of showcases LA in like all the neighborhoods, and I think that was kind of cool because it's
That,
kind
that
of
was
an
the best
opening.
part, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that he thought that was the best part. But yeah, so yeah, there's like I said, there's some things that we can definitely explore in this.
Does your mic work?
Is it working?
Yes.
Yes, we can
Okay.
hear him.
Okay,
All
cool.
right, it's YTT's turn.
Well, you can't see me?
Yeah, we can see you.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
John,
Can you take your glasses out though? It's really reflecting back.
Okay,
Thanks.
there you go. Oh, great.
What?
Now he's on mute.
Go
oh
on.
my God, that's you.
I'm there. I was telling Google to turn on my light. So this movie, what I was saying before I got rudely muted by my computer, was that this is a movie that every Christian man should watch with his new leaf before they're about to do it. Because there's so much whitey in this. There was like I might see why you can like watch a movie like this and understand why Hollywood could be predatory sometimes. Because I'm like, why is there excess of just female, stuff on screen? Like, I understand that now I'm seeing it as a 2021 plus woke dude. At the time, it was a different culture and different thing. But it's like, really look back at this stuff and I'm just like, what was the point? Like, bro, like really? Like there's magazines and internet, like you don't need all this stuff.
And this was directed by a woman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Barbara Koppel.
Wow. I thought this was directed by the Weinstein
She's
Company.
done documentaries.
Yeah, this movie is absolutely terrible. I really think the topic, the actual topic of rich kids growing up and all this stuff, like there is substance there. There is stuff that you can make a really good story up and explore and make a really way better updated movie of this. But this movie, as it stands by itself, to me, it really sucks. It's really bad. I felt like it was legit like a combination of like everything to be EO just fine and vomited into a screen. And then on top of that, it's just a bunch of white people. Like I wanted them to
redeeming qualities, and that was the whole movie for me. I mean, it's so weird because like almost everything that you guys said, that's exactly how I felt. Like it's awkward watching these teenagers and you know that they're not fucking teenagers, especially when they're in the school when the extras look like kids. Like, oh my gosh, like no, at least hire extras who don't look like kids. And just it's so like even in character moments where you think they're gonna show something of redemption or something worth rooting for, it's not there. And there is some really problematic shit, like just morally and ethically in this film that even in a narrative sense, even in a form of fiction, it's just so cringy and just I like there. And Jason said it so well. I think most of it is the delivery. Like there was no, it felt disingenuous. You know that there was something that was there at one point, but someone dropped the ball somewhere. And
was the director.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt having a different character choice for every line was weird. I was like, God damn, Joseph, pick one. Just pick one character and just stick with it. But oh my gosh, this film was a roller coaster, but not in the good way. And I wish Michaela was here because she's got some choice words for it too. But
Can't wait.
we'll get to that. But all in all, like, I get it. I see what the movie is trying to do, but it just, even from the start, it could not hold the ball.
If we had a Oye Cinema Club awards, this would probably win worst pick of the year.
I'm glad I won.
Did this get any Razzies? Did anyone look up that?
I don't think it was
I'm glad you brought up Malibu Most Wanted, because I was thinking about that movie, but I couldn't remember the name of it. And I think part of it was about the delivery. At the very beginning, I was just thinking, like, when they were still in the parking lot, I was like, okay, they're wiggers, or they're trying to be black, and clearly they're not. So it's just them acting black poorly, which is easily overacting, which then is like, are they just overacting being black as white kids would be bad at acting black, or was it just badly acted because of the direction?
See, I would disagree with that. I think that the way they were trying to act black was actually accurate. I've grown up around a ton of those people, and that's spot on. Just trying so hard to be the thing. I think they all sort of nailed that. It is cringy though, because it's cringy in real life, which means if they made you feel something, it was probably good acting.
Right. Okay. I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. What'd you say, JP?
Oh, I said I'll take it, because I was gonna say, like, any way you dissect it, it's still pretty bad.
Yeah. I gave them the benefit of the doubt. That's why I kept watching. Anyway, Naomi, you want to go somewhere else, or do we just continue?
So we were talking about how bad this is, and you know, there's some potential. It lacks so much potential. Like, it starts off great, as you guys, one of you mentioned. It starts off great. There's like, where we're introduced to the characters, and then it just lacks everything. We're left with a cliffhanger. Like, wait, what happened? You know. So I didn't enjoy it for that part. The acting, I feel, was okay. There were some moments where I was like, they're overdoing it. This is cultural appropriation. I don't know. Keep watching this. I feel bad for introducing this to you guys. So
just be real. You were like, I feel bad for Jason watching this.
In general, I was like,
they were dropping that essay and stuff. Like, I got a little bit bad on a few different cultures there.
Yeah, like everything, even the Latino, say it was a little bit over exaggerated. I feel like it had to do with the director, because she had only done documentaries in the past, and that's just as far as I Googled stuff. And yeah, your intake on this means a lot, because I'm like, hey, I'm not the only one that saw bullshit from this movie in the beginning, but I'm glad you guys do.
Can I? So what I was having an issue with, and the fact that we talked about Traffic and just kind of the realism of other movies about teenagers, is just not that I know them, not that I've lived gang life or whatever, but it just was so unrealistic. Like that,
bro.
Every single interaction.
I was gonna say, no, that first interaction they had, I was like, if this movie was,
he shot.
We lost you again.
He shot
you again. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, it reminded me of, and the fact that what's his face is 21 Jump Street. It reminded like a really bad episode of the original 21 Jump Street. but yeah, that he would have gotten shot in that first interaction, and the fact that and again, they were trying so hard, like, to pull it off, the acting and all that. But every interaction with the gang, just I was upset, like, of just how they were portrayed, and how it's like they wouldn't have gotten a second chance. They wouldn't have gotten a third chance. They would, like, they would have been beaten. They would have been raped that very first time. Car stolen. Like, if we're going with what they were trying to show with, like, gang.
Even the jewelry
like,
snatch or something,
Yeah. And I think
that jewelry could have got snatched. I don't know what that was about. That
he
jewelry
gave
really
the
should have got
wallet back.
snatched.
He gave him the wallet back. Like, he took the wallet at first, and then, like, what are you doing? And what is it, Tuco from Breaking Bad? That's like the backup guy or whatever. Like, they were more realistic. Like, how are you gonna allow her to, like, you haven't fucked her yet or whatever? I'm like, that has a little more realism to me than just like, let me placate these teenagers. I don't know, but it really, that is what upset me the most of the movie, was the depiction of the gangs, and their interaction with, because the themes and all that are there, but just the depictions of the gangs felt very insulting.
Insulting, you mean like the gang should have been tougher, or it was like racially insulting? What are you talking about?
Both.
I was gonna say both.
Yeah.
I mean, but wait a minute, you guys. In fairness, you can't say that you know how every gang member is going to react to every situation.
I saw them as some kind of heart.
I
like
said that to begin.
Kind. Like, it was showing them their heart. I don't know. I see it as in like some type of like brighter side to what they're trying to depict, like from them not really stealing the car and whatnot.
But also, let's be real about the gang shit. Like, they only really put on like the gang position, the guy as like that little short guy from 6 Feet Under, because that was the only actor. The everybody else was like almost like a glorified extra, because they were even when they were having interactions, they would back away, or they would just jump in at a certain moment. Like, they were like those great things on the Power Rangers that get beat very easily.
Jason, I did say at the very beginning when I started my little tirade, that I don't know how gangs react, or the gang.
Oh, okay.
So I did preface my thing with that.
I can tell you this: I've been in the Dominican Republic. I seen homeless kids, and if you got even a little piece of jewelry, they will snatch that shit.
Yeah, I've been. They stole my watch in Paraguay. They're called pirañitas, and they're like 12-year-old kids or younger, and they're in a pack, and they'll just come out of nowhere and just like piranhas, and like come at you, and they'll like grab you, and someone might have a shiv, and it's like, give me your watch, and you're like, sure, take it. I don't need it. Because you don't know if they're been huff and glue, which is an issue. I was just, and again, the effect of that kid, I guess that comes from the director. And there were some really good themes. I think she should have done a documentary about that kind of dynamic, and it would have been better. Because they even talk about like the Africa or something like that. And that kid, which I would have watched the filmmaker. I would have just watched everything from his perspective. And he's like, well, there are starving people in Santa Monica or something like that, right? Like, yes, like they were trying the right stuff, but they just kind of kept missing. Now, it also could be, and then I'm going to mute myself and let you guys go. It could be, again, like, oh, no. Jason said he watched it back in 2005 and said it was bad. So it probably was bad back in 2000.
Oh, no. Don't make any mistake. It's a poorly made film. It's bad.
Okay. But definitely in 2021, it's just like, I think they were trying to be very art house, very indie. and you know the movie cost $9 million, and
Also
This
consider
this movie didn't come out in the movie theaters. I think it was just put off on Blockbuster.
Yeah, I feel like it was straight to DVD.
Yeah,
I think I got this from Netflix. I got it from Netflix in the early days.
I got it at Well, they got it. My siblings got it at Blockbuster. So it was, it has different dates, release dates.
yeah.
As I was looking online, I'm like, I don't know why, but I explained because it was badly made, but poorly made.
Also, no one in this movie, I don't think, don't quote me on it, I don't think anybody in this movie is a full-on movie star yet.
No, everyone was starting, I feel.
It would probably be
And Hathaway probably did like the Princess Diaries by now, though.
After the second one, this was her breakout movie out of the Disney cap. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Because the show
Yeah, I think that's probably why she did, agreed to that. Like, I'm gonna show that I'm a serious actor. And Joseph was probably the most known one. Well, maybe Anne Hathaway with the Disney stuff, but from Third Rock from the Sun, right? This is him also trying to break away from that kind of sitcom little kid transitioning.
If you read this script, I would imagine a lot of young actors in Hollywood went out for this thing. And I'm sure that they all wanted it. And they probably thought it was going to be some edgy kids, bully, that kind of movie.
I see that. JP, any
additional
thoughts? Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Besides the butchering.
It was like oh my god. I don't know. Like it was like the high tolerance of the gang, and like I'm not gonna lie, like I this is one of the few movies, I think I've said this before, but like I legitimately I meant to, like I legit whine. I was like, when is a cast member going to like die? I was waiting for one of the kids to die, and I was rooting for the movie to off them off. Because there's almost no real lesson to be learned here. Especially like as the movie progresses, as most narratives do, you get into deeper shit, right? To the point like at the end, there was no return. And that whole ending bit where it's, of course, the cliffhanger, that was also for me a very cringe moment where it just cuts to black. You hear the audio, it leaves you to
wait. Spoiler alert! There might be people.
Spoiler alert, the white gang or the so-and-so white gang. I don't even know if they are a gang, the white kids.
Just shaking my head.
Okay. And it cuts to black and you're left with just the audio, and it's up to you to decide what happened. Because, like all you hear is gunshot, people calling out each other, and then it ends, of course, with that first line of the movie, we're teenagers and we're bored. Like, really, this is the thing of the movie. They're teenagers and they're bored. They wanted to be real, but they were slapped really hard with actual reality, and I don't think anybody learned from that.
No, I think this movie would have been better, and I know this is gonna sound shocking, but this movie would have a better ending if everybody just got shot at the end. If it was just everybody, just a full-blown massacre.
Like, because like that's the definite like be all end all. Like everything has a consequence, and the worst consequence is straight up getting murked or leading yourself to be murked. Because that's basically what it was in the whole film. Like, because there's moments of like where they try to do black and white with some morals and ethics, and it's like, no, I don't want you to try to put a black and white to it, because there's certainly a lot of fucking gray.
Like think about it, Jason, Dino, JP, you guys come from improv backgrounds. What happens when you're in a really bad improv scene? How do you get out of there without sweeping necessarily?
Without swiping, you take, if it's already at a 10, you try to find out in 11.
I know where YTT is going. You're talking about you start killing everyone.
He takes out his improv gun and starts letting everybody have it.
Yeah.
Michael Scott in that improv workshop.
Yep.
You kill it.
Yep.
So,
Or somehow, and this has happened in my long form improv back in the day, where somehow God gets into play and God kills you all. You literally bring in a Deus Ex Machina and
or someone just walks in blackface, and that's the end.
So anyway, not gonna go there, but
we have a lot
again,
to say with this movie.
So just to took an hour and a half out of my life.
Hey, but we can learn from it.
Yeah, we can. So again, the movie was the movie written by a 16-year-old. So I think there was a lot there because it was about kind of like her experience in her high school, right? So, and then it got sold in like 94, 95, or 96. So her, I guess, original script was, I guess, just, probably one of those scripts just hanging around Hollywood and no one really knowing how to necessarily pull it off or whatever. And I'm not sure if they had already filmed the movie before she died, or if they ended up filming it after she died, the original screenwriter for it.
Yeah.
But it had a lot of potential because
what's weird is that like you said before, either way it was rewritten.
Yeah.
So the end product, for all we know, was actually not her vision at all, So
I want to know, did he like the shots of Little Paraguay in the movie?
Hey, you read it. Yes. Although let me again, I did, because when I first moved to LA and I drove by that place, I was like, oh my God, it took me back to Paraguay. And when we watched
You're talking about Macarthur Park?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wait. That's Little Paraguay?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all Paraguayans in that little shopping center.
By the way, I lived there.
You lived at the park?
You literally were on 6th Street, where most of the film was taking place. It was on 6th.
No, but I've lived like legit in Macarthur Park.
Yeah.
Like in the park with the homeless people?
No. Like literally, like so you walk like one street up, but I literally live like a street down from that park.
Yeah, that's Little Paraguay.
Yeah.
That's not Little Paraguay.
I call it Little Central America.
Me too. Me too, Naomi.
Anyway,
I took Dino over there when he first moved here. He goes, man, this reminds me of Paraguay. And so we started calling it Little Paraguay.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys watch Siete Cajas, when we watch 7 Boxes. So it reminds me of those kind of markets, right? Because you can kind of, but then again, right? Like, man, for like a gangster or whatever, he does a really bad job of staying out of public view, right? Because she's like,
right.
Because LA is tiny. So she's just going to drive up, walk around, and be like, oh, I see him. I'm going to like step out and bump into him. Like, I don't know.
That's not realistic.
No,
She's like, well, I know he has to hang out in a Hispanic neighborhood, and there's not very many Hispanic neighborhoods in Los Angeles, so this should be a snap bumping into him.
Also, just a quick question: were cell phones not invented at this time?
It's 2005, dude. You barely had an iPod Touch.
Yeah, there was flip phones for sure.
They had them. Some of them did. Also, that documentarist dude, he saw a guy getting beat, and I thought it would start, and where I thought it was like, oh, this is gonna get intense, is they were beating the one guy in the parking lot, and I was like, oh, he's gonna crack his head on the cement, I was like, this is gonna start with a murder, and the kid is filming it, and I was thinking like, oh, okay, that's totally gonna be interesting of how these white kids now have to deal with pretending to be, badasses, and nothing happened to that. And then he's like filming, these Proud Boys wannabe like with guns, which man, the moment a wannabe person loads a gun and points it at me, I'm gone. I don't care if it's Jason or any of you people. If you point a gun at me once it's been loaded and you want me to film you, I'll leave the camera and be like, knock yourself out. Like, you don't point a loaded gun at me, or a gun for that matter.
Also, now that
girl undressing, you know what I'm saying?
What? Oh,
That's
yeah.
where I lost it. It was like, with him and Hathaway's scene, that's where I lost it. I was like, who are you making this film for? Like, you're filming so much.
For me, and now that you say it, I was just like, another way this movie could have been great is if whatever this dude was filming was actually like something that became evidence for the police. I don't know, but just something that actually. Yeah, it's like nothing happened with it. It was just like this dude is just creepily filming for his fucking whack off record or whatever it is that he's doing.
His journalism class, because then he's like editing it. He's editing it at the high school. And he's like, "Hey, look at or not at the high school. Sorry, he's at his house." But I'm like, "How do you not call the police?" Hey, there's a couple of white people with guns driving around looking for an actual gang that are hundreds of them. Usually gangs are more than just 3 vatos or essays. That was my favorite part when she's like, essay, and I was like, wait, shut up. like that to me.
That was probably my favorite part of the entire movie. Just because the guy actually stood up for himself, going like, "Yo, don't fucking do that shit."
Yeah,
like that's not cool.
Yeah, it was the most realistic part. I feel like
the only realistic part, bro.
And we've all had that friend where they cross a cultural line. It's like, wait, I get that you want to be a part of this or you want to be welcoming. That's a no. We don't fucking do that here.
Can I? We haven't even gotten to this yet. Sorry, I'm creating havoc over here.
No, I know how to compromise.
Again, like this themes that would have also been interesting to delve into, like their sexuality. They're like, is she gay? Does she have feelings? I thought maybe the gang thing would be on the side, but once that's clearly them, like, and because we are a status, I guess we can't get together. It won't be good in 2005 for rich girls to love each other, even though they were touching, they were cuddling, like it was. I'm like, have you guys kissed? Then, so I thought they were acting out in that way because it was easier to act out badly in that way than come to terms with their sexuality.
Also,
yeah. No. So, I was just gonna say, like, explore that, that. But JP, take a tag.
Also, they set that up really well. It starts with her having her interview sessions, like just. Like being completely vulnerable, admitting to the journalist kid, like she may have feelings for this one, her best friend. And then the next scene is the friend also kind of admitting she may have feelings as well. And then they just drop it.
Yeah. Like, I thought that was the best setup. Because
not only that, but let me just chime in on this one. But the fact that like later the dad like ask her about like her relationship with the guy, and she's kind of like, oh, like I don't know, it's kind of like a whatever thing, but it's just like explore that shit. Then like what's going the fuck on, and like it's just dropped. It's just it's just thrown there, but it's never get explored or anything.
Okay, I'm back in
until like the climax.
Yeah, and it started off great because when they're in the car. In that first party where they're burning furniture, which is mind-blowing. but she's making out with her boyfriend, and then he's like, "Oh, you like that?" And she's like sitting, like writing him or whatever, and she gets off of that to like give him a blowjob because clearly it's like she acted like she didn't want to have sex with him or didn't even like him, but was with him, and then that night goes to sleep with her friend. And that's where they cuddle, and it's like, I love you, and all this other thing. Oh, I'm glad you came back. So I was like, explore that. I thought that was gonna be the movie with just this like gang, thing on the side, right?
Tag me in,
Waititi.
tag me in. Okay.
Your tag, go.
Right.
So basically, like I think the perfect moment was that moment that she's like talking to the dude, and he's like with the fucking gun, going like, "I'm about to do this. I'm crazy." Like that was the perfect moment for literally the character of Anne Hathaway to be literally go, "Listen, you're fucking dumb. You're acting black. You're doing all this dumbass shit." Like that's the moment you gotta like kind of. But even that gets passed. And yeah, I just thought that was like the moment to like actually address, hey, you're kind of fucking my life up. Like, I need to stop hanging out with you or something. But she like just like acts like the worried white girl. I don't know.
White privilege there.
I have a
I don't know.
question. Like Channing Tatum is in this film. Is this pre
Barely.
or post him being a stripper?
Pre, way pre. Like,
So this is before he was a stripper?
oh, sorry, him in real life. I thought you're Magic Mike.
I think this was before the dance one, the dance movie.
No. He was a stripper
no.
in real life.
Yeah, he was a stripper in real life.
Oh.
I think maybe this was before, and then he saw it, and he was like, maybe I should be a stripper, and went into stripping after he saw the movie. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
The character was a delight, though, as the Chad. He was a Chad. In that.
He was excited when then he saw it, that the movie went straight to Blockbuster, and he was like, "Oh shit!"
I thought they were trying really well, really hard. So I don't bring all my critiques are not on the character, on the actors, but on the characters and
real quick, I agree with that, Dino. Just real quick about the Channing Tatum thing. I think, because honestly, like in the first couple of scenes, I noticed he was even in the movie. He's just like barely looking in, like an extra, And I legit think, because this has happened to me, I legit think he probably had like lines and all that shit got cut.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I could see that happening.
This movie was written in 94, you said, right?
Yeah.
This thing, there. And it didn't come out to 05, so let's say they filmed it in 04. This thing might have been dated by the time it was being filmed.
That's what I was trying to bring up, yeah.
Because there aren't any cell phones in the movie, right?
No.
Yeah, there are a couple. They because the Toby is on the, she calls Toby like, "Don't do it." It's like, "Bitch, I'm gonna do. Don't tell me what to do." And
I think it was a Sprint phone. A Sprint phone.
And then the gang guys have phones that time also.
Well, that makes sense for them to have phones, so especially businesses and shit.
Well, is Michaela gonna? Well, I really
everyone just wants to hear Michaela's thing at this point.
Michaela's gonna be. This was the best movie I've ever watched. Oh my god! So much diversity. Oh my god!
Has a way stronger opinion on the movie than I do.
So Toby was the oldest actor of the teenagers, of the main people.
Toby?
But I feel like
Who's Toby?
Spider-Man.
Toby's the main guy, the boyfriend.
That guy.
That's surprising because I assumed that Channing Tatum was actually older. Because
By the way, did that guy have a career after?
Toby?
Yeah. Because that was the thing I was
I think
questioning the entire movie.
I think he's done other stuff too. Yeah, he's
I'm
done
like,
other stuff.
did he get blackballed, or they just went like,
I don't know. He's in a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
he
he's
was
in
in
The
Blue
Help.
Valentine, The Help, Cloverfield, Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Fantasy
She's Out of My
Island.
League, all kind of stuff.
Probably one of them working actors that he doesn't have a name, but like he's very busy in the industry, you know?
yeah.
Like I didn't recognize that guy either, to be honest.
What are there?
So much potential. The movie, so much potential.
I do wonder if there was stuff that was cut, because I was gonna bring this up later if it was brought up naturally, but like they had Josh Peck in the movie for once, and he's never brought up again. They had the little brother, and that was it. Like,
oh yeah, and he was playing a little Game Boy
on his Game Boy, and I was thinking, we're gonna see the family dynamic of the dad, the mom, and the little brother. We hardly get the mom. We kind of get the dad, and Josh Peck is not even in the movie after that one scene. He's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing him because I was like, oh, snap. I worked with that dude when he was way skinnier than that. And
wait, so Josh Peck was a young brother?
Yeah, he was the young.
Yeah.
And his name was Josh, too.
Yeah, his name was Josh. They didn't even bother giving him a name. They called him Josh, and he was in that one scene. Like, you could have removed him. So it's like, did they purposely have him for that one scene, or was there other stuff that we didn't get to see? Because it seems so odd to bring up that there's a younger brother, but you never see him again. And he has almost no effect of them in the movie whatsoever, you know?
It's like they introduced so many characters and we didn't get to see the full depth of who they are. We just got to see the surface. That's where it lacks potential.
This movie was
the characters,
horribly edited.
It was edited by a female, sadly.
You know, maybe they spent all that money in the intro, and then they had nothing else for the rest of the film.
You guys remember Tuco in the movie?
Yes.
He was also in Blood In, Blood Out.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes.
That dude's been working in Hollywood for years, decades.
As a gangster, yes. So he played, who mentioned that? It was the most realistic.
Yeah. I can mention it. So, someone said, I saw some like review or whatever later that it was kind of like, it's sad where some of the background actors, especially from the gangs and stuff, ended up having a bigger career as gangsters than Freddie, I guess. But
yeah, there's this other Latino gentleman that is always in the background playing Joker. I don't know. I guess that's his actual acting name, Joker. But he's always there. I think so.
He's always a Joker.
He's always a Joker, like as his name.
Hey, Joker.
Cousin Joker's out of prison. Cousin Joker's out of prison. Stuff like that.
Somebody call Joker.
I mean, there's some people in Hollywood. I ran into cats like that literally they just find that niche and they just stay there. They just stay there, They just grind that role out.
And it's good. It's good,
Yeah.
It's good.
There's always been actors like that though, since like the 30s. There's always been the guy who's always the gangster in the gangster flick,
And you gotta respect that,
I'm not mad at it. Get your career on, bro.
There's literally a guy, there's a meme of it, and literally his IMDb, like I shit you not, even in like small roles, he's always the gangster, and every time he's the gangster, his name is Hector.
Come on! I said Joker. I'm the dumbass. His name is Hector.
And it's like, oh my gosh. And I've been in so many table reads where like when they're working on my characters for sketches and they do the same thing. My name is Hector. And it's like, okay, is that the safe Latin name for you guys?
Are you gonna you should do a one-man show called My Name is Hector. But it's pronounced also Hector. There is no H in Hector. Going to the characters of the gangsters, the fact that you can get typecasted, or if you find that niche. I had seen an interview with Michael Kenneth Williams, the guy from The Wire and Chalky White and all that. And like he had those scars. He used to be a dancer, used to be music video for a lot of different pop stars and all that, and then got sliced up outside a party or whatever. And since then, kind of like after The Wire, that's kind of what he gets. And he's like, you know what? I might be getting these characters, but I always make sure that it's a different character. Like I always bring something different to that character than what I did before. And it's never the same character twice. Whether it's, whether you play 3 movies in a row where you're a gangster, you can still find the backstory to each one that's going to be different. So yeah, it's no shame in playing the same freaking character over and over again if you are able to find something new.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't-
So it's good that at least they put in the work, even though it might be repetitious.
I mean, to each their own. Because for me, I legit had to grow hair here and facial hair because I was getting so typecasted into like teenager stuff. I was just doing like a bunch of Disney stuff when I was over there in LA, man, and I got tired of that because that Disney acting is some other shit. It's like, whoa, hey, mama, it's like so weird.
Yeah, all the guys here have beards on and long hair of some sort. We all have different faces. That's
if you think, hey, Dorothy,
Hey!
Michaela, we all loved it. So what are your thoughts on that?
Everyone's career has to start somewhere.
Oh, I love that. Well said.
You
Well
gotta
said.
dig to basically everyone in this movie.
well, they did such a great job acting white.
It's not that hard.
Is that an actual gang, by the way? Is there a Street 6 or whatever that was, 6th
I
Street?
think the 16th gang is actually a fictionalized gang, and it's in reference to 6th Street that does go through Macarthur Park and goes through Westlake. So I'm sure there's a gang on 6th Street named that, but in the movie they called it 16th Street.
Yeah, they wasn't trying to get any of these actors killed.
I know. I was thinking that. I was like, whoa, this better be a fake one. In the movie Keanu, was it also the 16th Street gang?
Keanu?
I would not it. The cat movie?
Yeah, the cat movie.
I think so.
I hope that's what it was for. I hope they saw it and maybe like, hey, let's bring 16th Street gang. Like maybe that's a new. If I write a movie, I'm gonna have the 16th Street gang in it.
It's the Hollywood makeup gang, kind of like with those Apple cigarettes that are in every fucking movie.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
Michaela, we were discussing about how we all loved the film. No, we all hated it. For real. It was bad. I'm glad I picked it, but at the same time, I'm not
No,
glad.
Jason liked
glad
it.
that we were able to dissect it in a nice form.
Good. I don't know.
What are your thoughts on this film besides them having to start somewhere?
Yeah. Did you see any redeeming qualities? I guess because we talked about some, but
I just felt bad for Anne Hathaway. She was trying so hard to take this material seriously.
As you do, as a
Yeah,
as
but
a-
like some people who didn't. I feel like Gordon was kind of just like, I'm just gonna do my thing.
yeah.
This whack.
He did play a good stoner.
He's like, I'm getting paid either way.
they all disappeared for like half the movie. I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be a movie about the guys, and then it was about the girls.
he played a better kid gangster, semi kid gangster in Brick, and that infuriates me.
Gordon did this movie for weed money.
No.
Well, he thought he was getting paid in weed, but showed up and I wasn't real weed.
Michaela, what did you think of the best cameo of all time in a movie by Josh Peck?
I mean, JP was excited about it.
He was my favorite character.
Is that because you guys share initials? Is that the only reason why you like Josh Peck? Because you guys share initials?
Even the parents,
Oh my
especially
God.
with your favorite scene.
My favorite scene of
Chicken and rice or tomato?
No, it's tomato or chicken and rice. I
Um,
don't want soup, Bob.
At that point, it's like, okay, now I want the mom dead too. Josh Peck was the only character I was like, I'm okay if he lives through it, and they just hit him through the rest of the movie.
Like, it was like one of those weird things though, where it's just like, this is why we need to have multiple drafts. That's what this movie felt like, is like they just like wrote something together and they were just like, no, this is so special that we're gonna keep it as is. And because of that, like they never were able to develop the characters to have like meaningful scenes. Like I think like if they would have workshopped it more, they would have ended up finding that the story was actually about the two girls' relationship.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Like that's what the movie was supposed to be. It's just like if they would have taken 10 minutes to, or like not 10 minutes, but like time to like actually be able to do that. I think
That
they
would have been a better story. That reminds me more of like the film 13.
Yeah. You know, because like I think out of all of the scenes, like those were like the most believable.
Yeah.
Were like the two like girlfriend scenes. Like that's where like the dialogue seemed the most natural. I'm not saying that it was like great, but like that's where it was just like I could like let my sense of belief like go.
And so nonchalant with suicide or attempted suicide also.
Edgy, she's a cool girl, cool sad girl.
Oh my God, that was...
Cool sad girl. Like
You think her name would have been Sad Girl at the end of this?
probably.
That reminds me of that very bad.
Like you can see that's like the early aesthetic to like those Billie Eilish kids nowadays, low key.
See, now that reminded me
You
of...
just bring Billie Eilish into Havoc. Whew.
Is that sad girl thing?
Oh my...
She's happy sad though, I feel like.
She is. But like, you know, like that's like that edgy thing that like angry teen girls want. That's what Anne Hathaway's character was supposed to be. It's like that. This is what rich girl anger looks like.
Mm.
They don't care enough to like take anything seriously, and they are so busy manipulating the world.
But did Anne Hathaway deliver that? Because to me, it didn't feel like that.
I think that she did the best she could with the material she got. And this was very early in her career too, so
Yeah.
you know. I think that it could have been a lot more refined, absolutely. But
And then I thought Bijou. Like she did. Yeah, I thought she did great until the very end. Like, I mean, at the very end, it fell apart. But I thought like she was very, she was also working hard. And for a moment, I was like, oh, okay, I think we're gonna get something from her. And then even after they threw the dice and that happened, I was like, oh, maybe this is a part where, Anne Hathaway and Bijou are gonna like, finally stop running away and come together. And then I was like, nope, the opposite is happening. So I kept waiting for that, and yeah, it just didn't.
well, I mean, I think this film brings into question when it comes to like creating art that we feel is authentic. Like what are we willing to sacrifice for a good story versus like what we think would actually happen in real life.
Clearly not sacrificing nipples. That
No,
was
clearly not.
clearly not.
No, it's realistic. Girls have boobs and they show them to boys.
True. I'm like, true.
No, but
No.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
A little too real.
The themes are there, but Michaela, you missed it. So this was written back in 94, 96 by a 16-year-old girl who sold it when she was 16. I don't know if you saw that. And then I guess it got written. Huh?
It makes sense. That pan.
Yeah. And then she died in a really sad airplane crash that I guess hit a freaking building downtown somewhere. So I don't know anyone who lived here during that point. I'm not sure if you guys.
Now, did the
Sounds
accident
familiar.
did the accident happen before or after this movie got made?
Well, it definitely happened before it got released, because at the very end of the movie it says dedicated in memory of Jessica Kaplan. So yeah, she wrote I guess a couple movies or a few movies that then got made. But it was about her life, because she came from a very affluent family, and so like she wrote it about the kids in her school. So clearly that makes sense if a 16-year-old is seeing like a bunch of white kids pretending to be, black people, that she might write a story about it. So that I can see is, there's some truth in that, but it never got adapted or kind of flushed out.
Yeah, no, like, and that's why, like, so much of the hyperbole of this film makes sense. It's what a 16-year-old thinks, like, real grown-up people, how they behave in, like, a real world, Like, that's why, like, it's so skewed, I think.
Well, we dissected the crap out of it, and any final thoughts, y'all? Like, what are your final thoughts on this movie? Steve, let's go with you.
Thank you. I actually was in my head like, can I go first? Can I go first? Can I go first? I'm first. So this movie, absolutely astronomically horrible film. But hey, if you have a sack of weed around you and some free time, hey, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Roll the dice a little bit. Make it spicy. Not all the time you got to watch great films. You got to see some bad ones to then appreciate the good ones when you do watch them. So that's just my recommendation. I enjoyed it while it lasts. Will I see it again? Probably not. I'm not Jason, but to each their own.
Yeah, Jason just got thrown.
Jason?
2021 Jason was going to watch this movie again.
We're going to I think Jason should go next.
Yes, Jason, please.
I mean, listen, I am a cinema club member through and through. And even if I've seen a bad movie before, I'm going to enjoy it again so I can enjoy it with you guys and gals. And that's just the way that goes. So I'm loyal. I'm loyal to our gang. So that's that.
What's up.
Can I recommend this movie to
18th
someone?
Street
Probably
Gang,
not.
18th Street Gang.
What? Can I recommend this movie to someone? I can't recommend it with a clear conscience, but I would say if someone was really into one of the actors in this movie, then I'm like, hey, you want to see some of their early work? I got something for you. I mean, as a cinephile, I could recommend it to some degree. Like, sometimes it's fun to see some really great actors and some real terrible trash. Like, I think that's worthy. And for what it's worth, and I'll say this again, I said it early on, I'll say it again, I don't think the acting in this thing was really the problem. Because I feel like every actor in this movie kind of laid it on the line. It's all early in their career. They're all really good actors. And they did their thing. It's just, the material they were working with and maybe the guidance they had was just a little off. With that being said, not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it is the worst movie I've ever seen on Cinema Club.
All right.
You know?
Me?
Yes, sir.
I feel like I talked the most tonight.
Oh.
After all, I kind of, I love movies so much, and I don't know. Do I love all those actors? I really like pretty much every actor in the movie from their other works. So it was just, again, I think Jason nailed it on the head. Like, do you want to see them when they were younger and they did this thing? But then again, all you gotta do is watch the first 5 minutes, and then you can turn it off and go play disc golf or something. It's gonna be. I've never played disc golf, but I just feel that would be more entertaining.
That opening scene was actually the best way to introduce all of them, because you're right. They're the same characters from the beginning to the fucking end.
There is no journey, no lessons learned. They're not better or worse for any of it. They just are.
Except Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he was changing throughout, you know.
Yeah,
a lot of levels there. Textures.
He became James Franco from Spring Breakers somehow in the end, so that's okay.
I like them in 500 Days of Summer. Michaela, final thoughts?
You know, like when I say that every career has to begin somewhere, it's not necessarily a dig, you know.
But could it?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like someone created like a full-length movie, and I can't say that I've done that, you know. And for what it's worth, like someone went out there and tried to make something, and that's what this is. And like it takes all like sorts and lessons learned, and that's what art is like it. Don't worry about the quantity, or don't worry about the quality, worry about the quantity when you first start out. And I think that that's what this was.
Awesome.
Very, very awesome.
JP?
I feel like after taking a mild crap on Frida, there is no way I could recommend this movie. When Frida was, for its faults, is a masterpiece compared to it. But like, oh man, like even just like to as a not even like a joke, but like oh yeah, let's see where all your favorite actors like came from. Is like, no, this one I can't say. Not even just for that, is like maybe the movie afterwards. Don't look at anything after, or don't look at anything before 2006. Just anything after, you're good. You're good to go. But man, like there was no. I think I've said this so many times before, but like for me, as a film goer and a movie watcher, like for me, what I love the most about any narrative is like who, and this is so cheesy because even great films don't have this, but one of my like go-tos is just like, who am I rooting for? Like who's the character that I want to prevail? And there was none of that in this movie. So there was nothing for me to latch onto, and it was a hard watch because literally the movie is the first scene, and they literally end the movie with the first scene. That's it. So
I think we were all rooting for Josh Peck playing the Game Boy, and whatever we were just rooting for him to beat that game. You know,
right.
It's not like you could save back then. You know, so.
It was the Pikachu game because I saw the yellow on the square thing.
So
Gotta catch them all.
Yeah,
well, I will give my final thoughts. I will recommend this movie if you're trying to learn something new in the film industry, like and what not to do. And if you want to see people in their earlier work, welcome to it. It's poorly made. It has great potential, but it's not something I would want someone to watch twice. Once is enough, maybe cut the scene, whatever. But I am very sad. Very sad that I won the worst movie award pick from Cinema Club.
Hey,
So
the
with
year's
that
not
being said,
the
I won something.
the year's not over yet. So you haven't won it. You got it so far.
So far, this is
for the end of
first
the year
pick. That is the
awards.
worst.
Just
But
wait
no,
till I
but
do it. Yeah.
But just a quick add-on before we wrap up this movie. I want to say, like, making a film, it sounds fun, it sounds awesome, but it is almost like if you're going to war. You know, you have to make a plan, and you have to revise that plan, and then revise it again. I produced my first film in February called Piña Coladas. And we were designing that plan in November, then we revised it in December, then we like lay low for like January, then in February we retook it again, and then we filmed the whole thing. And during the filming process, there were a lot of things going on. There was a lot of chaos. I'm sure in this movie there was a lot of stuff going on, and they probably had a tight budget and a tight availability and time to get things done. And that's why probably there was like a lack of direction and stuff like that. So if you're ever going to make a film...
Did they deal with a pandemic?
That's true. They did it. They did it. But yeah, that's why you want to, like, whenever you're going to make a film, revise that stuff. Do that. Pre-production is essential. Pre-production is very essential.
It is.
Yeah. It takes a village.
Absolutely true.
All right.
Well, there goes our Havoc episode.
If you watched this far, let Steve know, and he's gonna buy you a piña colada.
I'm going to personally buy you a piña colada. There you go. It's gonna be with Dino's credit card from Paraguay. If it doesn't decline.
There you go.
Paraguay City.
It's only valid at Macarthur Park. But anywho, for next movie is Michaela's turn, because we're still with the ladies.
Yeah.
So Michaela, what's gonna be the next movie?
I've been wanting to watch this for a very long time, and it's called House. It is a crazy Japanese horror film. I'm super excited to see what you guys think.
Why is JP head like that?
Is that with Hugh Laurie?
No.
Look at JP's excited.
Oh God.
All right. Well, I gotta log off, guys. This was way more fun.
For Dino, for Jason, for Naomi, for Michaela, for JP, and for Steve. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Hey there, I am Steve Des from Oye Dimelo Network. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please don't forget to subscribe and click any of the videos you see right there, because it will take you to a different path in your life.